bold, but Stacy, you said you had something that came up.
I did, and I wanted to hear your weigh in. Actually, Michelle and I both experienced this. So if I miss anything, Michelle, please jump in. We were using a very popular app. I was using a very popular app. And there was a short video done on, I believe it was an abandoned funeral home. And there was this amazing walkthrough of this abandoned funeral home that elicited incredibly strong physical reactions, not just like spiritual, but like I could almost smell being present in that space. And I sent it to Michelle without saying anything to her because I'm just cruel and unusual like that. And I wanted to get her feedback without any influence. But one of the things that was hitting me very strongly was not necessarily souls that were stuck, but something else that I had never experienced. So I wanted to throw that out at you. And Michelle, please share your perspective on this one.
No, well, I thought you were sending me a funny video, but it wasn't funny. And I'm like, well, what is this? And started walking through it. And I felt physically sick, like I was going to throw up. I got hot and I could smell it. And I was wondering what was going on because I've seen other videos, walkthroughs, never had a reaction, but that one. So when I was done watching it, I sent Stacy a message. I'm like, why'd you send that to me? And I was just really curious if she had the same reaction, which she said she didn't.
So you both watched a video of somebody else going through a walkthrough of an abandoned funeral home, and you both smelled a significant smell intuitively.
Yes.
Because the app's not letting off smell.
No. I mean, unless you know, something has really shifted and we don't know it. Not only was it the smell, but it was this feeling of, you know, I've done so many clearings that clearing spirits does not necessarily step me into fear. This didn't feel human, which is the piece that I was really stuck on.
Okay. And was that your first pickup too, Michelle, that it wasn't?
I didn't know exactly what I was picking up on. I was just really uncomfortable. And part of opening up for me has been releasing fear. And I'm not so fearful what goes bump in the night. And so it just caught me off guard that I would be feeling so apprehensive and just out of sorts. I mean, I really could have stopped watching it and gone and got sick. It was horrible.
Okay, so this is going to be, so let me ask a couple questions and just hit me with yes or no.
Okay.
Did either of you feel as if you were brought into a different moment or place?
Yes.
Okay. So for a moment, you lost track of where you physically were.
Yes.
Okay. And for a moment you lost well, it's the losing track of where you physically are that's going to be more impactful. Okay. I suspect that what you've experienced, I've experienced a number of times as well. And it can shake you to your core. And there's two outcomes really. One is either that there's something to be done, or one is that you need to be a spiritual witness. And we can talk about both of those outcomes. But in essence, there's going to be occasionally a time where you're brought in so hard into a situation, and it's not even in front of you. It's that actually every time this has ever happened to me, it's never happened on site of a clearing or me going somewhere. It's always happened when I didn't expect it, not by appointment, and out of the blue. You can feel the air wherever you are. You can feel the like, let's say you're somewhere physically, like in your human body. Let's say, you know, you're somewhere where there's no humidity and you get pulled into a situation that has a lot of fear involved and a lot of tension. And this is a historical situation, something that happened in the past, something that needs to be either cleared or witnessed. If you get pulled into another situation, you could feel the humidity there. Like, it's that much of a physical feeling. So you can smell the environment. Every single time it's happened to me, I've smelled. That's been something that's hit me so hard that I couldn't shake it, is the smell. And you might as well be somewhere else. It's like astral travel, but crossing over work. It's like being pulled into a moment in time that was so intense and you're just dropped right into it. And there's almost a feeling, I don't know how the two of you feel about what you've experienced, but for me, there's usually my initial feeling is very human and very natural of like, I want out of, I don't know where I am, but I don't want to be here.
My initial feeling was, I need to share this with
Yes.
Lucky me.
somebody. Sorry, Michelle.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Was that your feeling though too, Michelle? Like, I want out of this?
I did want out because as you said, I just felt like clammy and the heaviness of the air, like just coming down on me. It just really shook me.
It really did. It was it was such a visceral and strong reaction that it did shake me. And it wasn't so much that I was trying to terrify Michelle. It was more that I wanted to know if there was anybody else that would step into this experience and have anything similar. So I did send it, again to Michelle without preempting anything, because I needed her reaction to be normal or natural. And lo and behold, it was okay, we both shared this experience. There's something here. Maybe we need to go back and clear it. Maybe something needs to happen.
That's part of how we work as a team too. That's part of how the crossing over team works, is that we lean on each other to say, okay, this came up and this is what I'm experiencing. The short of it is, when there is a situation that is really intense, really, I'll use the word terrifying, the person who goes through that experience, their 5 senses are on overload through that experience. So that person, and I'm keeping it in the human realm for now, but that person, what they went through, it's so visceral and so strong, and there's so much amped up fear from the programming brain that's just pumping out juice, that when that situation needs to be, and or that person needs to be cleared, somebody that does crossing over work is going to experience it as if they are right there. Because when we do crossing over work, it's a very psychological experience, and you connect with somebody that's in the in-between, and you're going to connect with what they see, what they hear, what they feel, things like this. So you are slightly connecting with their 5 senses in essence, usually not the physical body. There's usually not feeling with these things. There's usually not that physical feeling. It's usually smell and hearing and sound and sight. But losing track there. Anyway, their 5 senses at the time that this happened are on such overload that when somebody that does crossing over work taps in, it's like 10 times stronger than what it typically is. And it's quite the experience. And so I'll give an example and I'll see if this, kind of parallels with what you're experiencing. One of them I was brought into, it was a serial killer situation, and I stood next to the woman while, the event went down, and I could smell, the blood. It was not, can you tell I'm stumbling? Because it was not one of my favorite moments. And that one happened to be that she just needed somebody to be there so she wasn't alone through the process, and then she crossed over. But this, I mean, I might as well have been standing in, it was like a barn. I could see it. I might as well have been there. It was really bizarre, but I could smell and I could hear and I could see as if it was happening in real time. And that's tough to experience. But it's also very powerful work, because the ripple effect that happens as a result of something that intense happening is massive. So a person murdered by a serial killer, for example, that ripple effect goes out in the world and will keep going out in the world. And now with Netflix, it's going out again and again and again. Do you know what I mean? Because they're covering it over and over and over again. It's going to go down in history. Something that happened in masses, not in mass, in masses. Something that changed the direction of the world, which is, I think, what happened with you two. Something like that has such a powerful ripple effect. You're going to be pulled into it. That's really it. Does that all feel like it describes what you experienced?
I'm gonna say yes, because I'm kind of intrigued by the fact that it doesn't. So it shifts like it changes the kind of outlook of the world is more, I feel like that's that where I was like, it doesn't feel human. It feels more like an energy that I'm like, whoo, I don't want to step in that anymore. It did not feel like a good energy. That feels very right to me.
Could it have possibly been that it was a non-human interaction happening? And these interactions that happened resulted in fear or terror?
That's exactly what it felt like to me.
Michelle, how about you?
Yeah, it's just hard to explain. I mean, even coming into this meeting with both of you today, I started to feel a little bit physically sick. Again, knowing that this is what Stacy and I are going to bring to the table. But just walking in there, I think the story that they shared is the person who owned it like disappeared. They don't know what happened. Like she went in one day and just never was seen again, or he. I don't remember if it was a he or she because I was so not feeling good. I wasn't really concentrating on the words that the person walking through was saying. So I didn't know if we were picking up on some of her experience and what happened having worked there. I don't know. It's just uncomfortable.
Just muting, sorry. Yeah, the discomfort, it's like a request. It's like a request. Do you stay there and look around, figure out what's going on, or are you supposed to be witness to an event? Doesn't sound like either of you were able to get to that point.
I'm wondering if we need to go back into it.
And we had talked about that. Stacy and I wanted to get your thoughts on, are we supposed to go into that energy together and try and see what's going on?
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should give it a shot.